we're going to read another book today, and it's about an animal in the fall. And today, the main character would be, what kind of animal do you think? Yesterday, or on day 2, we read a story about an owl, and he helped some animals. He helped a squirrel. He helped a beaver. He tried to help a beaver, but he didn't really help the beaver. And he helped a robin. So today we're going to read a story, and it's called The Nutty Nut Chaser. Let's find out what happens in this story. Hickory was making rude faces at Pecan when the strangest thing happened. A shiny brown nut suddenly burst up from the ground. It wobbled and shook, wiggled and quivered, then lay there teasingly delicious. Okay, I stated at the beginning of this book that it was going to be about the fall, but I want you to listen and I want you to look at the pictures. And in the end, I'm going to ask you again what season you think this book is taking place in. Wow, lunch, Pecan shouted. Wow, lunch and dinner, Hickory screeched. It's my nut, said Pecan. It's mine, snapped Hickory. Who's making that noise, shouted Badger. I'm trying to sleep. All the animals came out to see what was happening. My nut, Pecan shouted. It's mine, yelled Hickory. I saw it first. Did not. Did so. Boppy's nose, shouted Littlest Rabbit. Certainly not. Bopping noses doesn't solve problems, said Badger. Then there will be a competition and the winner will get the nut. I know, said Hedgehog. The prickliest wins the nut. But you're the prickliest, said Pecan and Hickory. So I am, said Hedgehog, delighted. I win. I will get the nut. Cuddliest gets the nut, said Littlest Rabbit. I win. Enough, said Badger. We will have a race. First to reach the post wins. Hooray, a race, everyone cheered. Blackbird whistled the start of the race. They were off. Pecan and Hickory shot ahead, but the rabbits were close behind. Hedgehog tried to run, but only managed to waddle. In a huff, he curled himself into a ball and rolled full speed down the slope. Littlest Rabbit looked back to see a prickly ball spinning towards them. Look out, he called, but it was too late. Hedger crashed through the racers like a cannonball, and everyone landed in a prickly heap. Oh dear, tutted Badger. We'll have to start again, and prickly cannonballs aren't allowed. Hedgehog snorted off and skulked. He wasn't playing fair, was he? Instead of running and racing, he got into a ball and rolled because he knew that would get him there faster. Blackbird whistled, and they were off again. Pecan and Hickory were neck and neck. My nut, shouted Pecan triumphantly. I win. No, shouted Hickory. It's mine. I win. Suddenly, the nut began to move. It twitched and jerked, joggled and jiggled until plop, it disappeared down from the ground. It's a magic nut, shouted Littlest Rabbit. Nutty magic, squealed Hedgehog, racing back to see. Bet it would have tasted magic too, said Shrew. What do you think happened to the nut? Pop! The nut sprang up right in front of Shrew. Quick, grab it, shouted Littlest Rabbit. All the animals shot across the grass, rolling and shrieking, jumping and hopping, banging and bopping into each other. I've got it, shouted Hedgehog, but the nut vanished again. That's my nose, Shrew squeaked. You got the wrong thing, didn't you? Shh, said Badger suddenly. Look. He pointed at the magic nut that had appeared at his feet. Everyone tiptoed up to it. The nut shook and quivered. The animals looked on in amazement. "Help!" squealed the nut. "Ah!" shrieked the rabbit. "A talking nut!" "You're a talking nut," said Pecan. Do you think it's really the nut talking, or do you think it's someone under the ground? Pecan and Hickory bent down and pulled and tugged, yanked and wrenched at the nutshell with all their might. Out flew the nutshell, sending Pecan and Hickory rolling backwards. And there, where the nut had been, was Mole. Mole shook himself and stood upon his two tiny legs. "Thanks," he said. "I thought I would be stuck in that nutshell forever." Littlest Rabbit put the empty shell on his head. "It makes a great hat," he giggled. "That looked like the tastiest nut ever," groaned Pecan and Hickory. "There's plenty more where that came from," chirped Mole, and he disappeared underground. He was stuck in the nut, wasn't he? Suddenly, shiny nuts began popping up all over the place. "There's enough for everyone," Mole chuckled. "Magic!" shouted Hickory. "Magic!" shouted Pecan. "Nutty magic!" everyone shouted, and they all munched with delight. And that's the end. How do you think he got all those nuts underground? Why do you think the mole had the nuts underground? Okay, that's going to be on our quiz, our questionnaire today. So make sure if you need to rewatch the video, go back and rewatch it. And I'll see you soon. Bye.